As a teen, I used to look at older people and wonder, why would they invest in a younger generation if they're not going to be here to see the fruition of their efforts? And as a designer and going through the years I've been designing and tying in conservation and adventure and expeditions with my work, it's so clear to me as to why you would want to do something in a philanthropic way to help others. I have to have a purpose to design. And it's not because I want to be a fashion designer, but I have to have an experience. And for myself, that experience has always come from nature. So when I've done an expedition, say canoe down the Amazon tributaries, or been in Madagascar or Greenland, or the many places I've had the ability to travel to, I've always brought something back with me to put into my designs and then into the actual final garment. So I'm doing more than presenting a garment, I'm sharing an experience. It's the raw materials that tell me what they want to become. I'll go to Italy and I'll go to into these beautiful mills, people making the yarns, right? And then they'll go to a different mill with the machinery to make these beautiful, beautiful patterns and fabrications. But that's what inspires me so much and creates the design, right? And so then my feeling is, as a designer, if I'm going to spend 18 hours a day working at something, I should do it make a product that has great integrity. I think everyone in their life goes through a defining moment in their career. For me, that moment came when I hired some consultants. And I was doing pretty well with my business. I'd been probably at it for maybe 5 or 6 years. I was already in some major stores. And I said, what do you think of my direction, of my company? And they said, well, to us, you're really not a designer. You're some Marlboro guy coming over the mountaintop. You should be following punk as the look right now. That's what you should be doing. But I was never comfortable with following what a trend was. So I decided then and there, either I am or I am not. And up until that time, as a young designer, I would see what people were doing, or I'd see a fashion magazine and do my version of it, and that worked. But then I realized at that moment in time, no, it has to come completely from inside of me. And that's when I went down to the Four Corners area, and I started working with the Native Americans and really coming into that culture, knowing that I was bucking the trend, knowing wait a minute, if fashion right now is punk and I'm doing Native American in nature, but that's who I am, so it's either going to be successful or not. That maybe sounds very cavalier, but at the time I had no children, and I thought, this is what I'm going to do. So then I was able to continue doing the expeditions and my adventure travel that I love. And I was able to go to Papua New Guinea. And there was I read in Sports Illustrated, it said, are you man enough? Can you take it? Can you race through the highlands of Papua New Guinea? And I thought, yeah, why not? Later on, I was able to go to Outer Mongolia. And there I met with a wonderful culture, the Cossacks, who for over 1,000 years have hunted with golden eagles. It gave me such inspiration for design. Just by luck and by happen chance, I was presenting in New York, and I met the president of Bergdorf Goodman. And fortunately for me, she was a real leader in the industry. And she said, this is going to be the next look. And all of a sudden, Native American, this look that I'd decided to take a stand on just for myself, became something that was mainline fashion. Of all this professional life, I was fortunate enough to be married and have 2 beautiful boys. But as a real tragedy in my life, at their ages of 1.5 and 5 years of age, that marriage ended in divorce. And it was an extremely difficult time that caused me to become, as a single father, to pull away from that brass ring, if you will, in the fashion world. And now, the reality is I'm going to father these 2 little boys. Now my boys at the ripe old ages of 21 and 24, both super independent in a wonderful way, and yet there's not a day that goes by that we're not in close contact with each other. But this time has now allowed me to come back again now. I can go back to these expeditions and these adventures, and I can interpolate that into design. And for me, that's what gives me purpose.